All good. Waiting for your news.
Yeah, I mean, we put the news down a little bit concerning world events, but the Black Swan has made a return. It's more damaging than ever. We're finding out that there's no rebuttal, there's no comeback. Because if you remember that when we did Isle of Man, there was a bit of a rebuttal. The globe earthers were able to come with refraction, and we had to accept it because you had a physical horizon, and you could say to us, yeah, so what? You can see more of the building, more of the lighthouse, more of the mountain. Yeah, so what? Because that's just refracting over the physical horizon, right, Boba? But nowadays, it's completely different. Not like that anymore. There's literally no comeback for how you explain the horizon just playing silly beggars over the place. So, what's your response? How have you been able to rebuttal the Black Swan, Boba? That's precisely how I would feel, Boba, in this situation. It's best to say nothing because in these situations, you can only make a situation worse, right? You're only going to put your foot in it. You're only going to drop the Globe team in more bother. So it's a dark day. It's not a day for Globe Earthers to be speaking because I think that day of proudness, uh, that you know everything. I think that day has come. It's gone, and now it's all about self awareness, looking within, and just figuring out how this happened to you, right? How you were able to be deceived, how you were able to be fooled in this manner. Let's think about this for a moment. See, obviously, in those moments, you were supposed to be thinking of, well, let's assist you a little bit. What are you supposed? Because obviously, if you're a ball earther, you don't know what to think, how to think. So, what you should be thinking in these moments of silence, you should be thinking of. We look at the how or the why first. Let's look at the. Let's try to use energy, brain energy, at looking at the why. No, go with the how. How they were able to do this. So let's think about this for a moment. Let's consider this. Let that sink into your brains of how they were able to deceive you. Yeah, let's think about that. Let's just take 30 seconds of silence as we contemplate how, not the why. We're looking at how. How did this happen?
England.
That's about 20 seconds. We're still considering the how. How were we able to be deceived and fooled in the way that we were, right? Let's put another 15 seconds on that thought.
Is that a 1 minute silence?
Well, Dawn, we've recognised the concession. Now, ball earthers, what I've found, because they don't know how to think, or how to express themselves, they don't know how to deal with going from globe earther to flat earther, because obviously flat earth comes with labels of retard, moron, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, the globe is here amongst us. they're aware. They're all aware the Earth is not a globe, but it's how to be labelled a non-globe Earther and still have dignity. I think that's what we're dealing with here, right?
I'll give you the concession that I can't prove my cosmology to someone that doesn't understand it and doesn't want to.
No, we're looking at the how, Dawn.
Believe.
Dawn, we've done that. We're looking at the how. How did this happen?
No, I'm just giving you my concession so you understand.
Oh, I know. We've all conceded. Remember, yeah. So this is a little bit like them group sessions where they sit in a circle and then someone has to explain how. So obviously you're like stepping up. You're like, yeah, this is. I can't prove this, but how did this happen to you, Dawn? How were you in a position not to be able to present proof? How did that happen?
It turns out I'm a layman, and a lot of this stuff is way beyond my capabilities.
No, go back. How did this happen originally? How did you get in this position? Yeah. So you were 5 years old. You had no idea that the Earth, what the shape was. Then you were introduced to a globe.
They taught me big truths and never proved it to me, and taught it to me as fact.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, they were too fast to teach me stuff as fact that could never be proven.
Do you think you were influenced by the movies?
Sure, yeah.
Because I loved Superman, right? And do you remember when he reversed the Earth? Because Lois had died, unfortunately. And he was like really angry, and he was like, right, I'm going to reverse the Earth. So that really indoctrinated me, because I was like, I'm a Superman fan. He's reversing the Earth. That would be so cool if you could go back in time and reverse the Earth like this, stop it from spinning. So I had the imagination.
He reversed it. It sort of proved, it showed you it was spinning in the first place, or whatever. That's true because it was in Superman.
No, for me, if you're a fan of like Star Wars, I wasn't really a fan of that. I mean, I watched it, but if you watch Star Trek or Star Wars or something like this, this would have been your indoctrination, part of it, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
We're looking at how this happened.
If there's a big dramatic moment where Superman decides to spin the Earth, it means that the spinning Earth is something.
Yeah, but that's always stuck with me.
You made you believe in it at the time.
That's always stayed with me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it, because now, as I'm older here, I remember that. That's part of the indoctrination. So, again, if you're a fan of any of these movies, this is how this has happened to you, right?
Yeah.
So let's take 30 more seconds to think of ways of how this has happened. Intelligent people as well. Think about these scientists, because the way I see it, that if the ball earthers were flat earthers, they would figure it out pretty much quickly. It's like they've already, because they refuse to give up the ghost or give up this dead globe, they won't focus on the calculation. But anyway, that's digressive. We're looking at the how. So yeah, I think the movies, we've had school. Do you think you ever
video games,
computer games? Yeah, I mean, like what, for example?
I can just imagine if you're playing a science fiction video game and then it zooms out when you complete a level and you see all the planets and space. That makes you think this has got to be real because it's in the video game.
Yeah, you see a lot of planetary games. Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. Absolutely. Peer pressure. Would you say you were pressured into going along with the narrative, right?
Say pressured, but maybe not peer pressured, and not from my friends. I think they said.
No, let's think about that, because if you were a flat earther 10, 15 years ago amongst your peers, would you be able to speak about it?
No, if you weren't quite sure and you were doubting the globe, you would have peer pressure on you, maybe.
That's what I mean. So in your mind, even though they haven't said anything, you know that they're going to say something.
Yes.
So that's pressure from the friends or from everyone, teachers.
Yeah, so
parents.
As soon as we start to doubt, we think, oh no, I might seem silly if I doubt this.
Yeah. So I mean, this is good. So now you're seeing, because we've managed to destroy, annihilate your globe. We can look at the how. So we've looked at the movies. Superman resonates with me. I'm sure you have something similar. We've got the education, of course. That goes without saying. Got computer games. There's also peer pressure.
Obviously, astronauts on the telly. That's always happened, isn't it, through our lives? This sort of thing.
The moon land, good one, Dawn. Good one. Because that is what kind of sealed the deal for a lot of individuals. When they saw those photographs, when they heard astronauts making phone calls to presidents. Yeah. That is another way of how you were indoctrinated in the way that you were. Yes. Definitely. A lot of this Mars missions, a lot of the moon mission, they just keep on pushing, like more and more. Give them more, push more, promote more, indoctrinate more, keep going, pump it out. And the people are eating.
Maybe some of the American guys here went to Epcot Center for Disney indoctrination camp.
Disney cartoons as well is another way how.
Disney have actually literally got a space camp where you can go there and they tell you all about how space is real.
Huge indoctrination, Dawn, of the highest order. Talking about trying to manipulate the minds of civilians, individuals. That's definitely one way of how. Because people want to know how. I mean, this is deadly serious, right? Globe Earthers are stuck. Globe Earthers are, they've resorted to, because I remember when Globe Earthers were so confident and proud and top of the world, and I'm a scientist and I'm a mathematician and I can tell you exactly how the heliocentric model works. Yes, we have the and it was like, well, hold on a second. Do you have the experiments? Do you have the demonstrations? Again, we're digressing, but that's essentially what was happening there. Is that we're now seeing Globe Earthers who have now recognised their position. They recognise the flat Earthers are not their match. Right? Have you seen
concessions every day?
Have you seen that, Dawn?
Concessions every day from the Globe Earthers.
We've seen some yeah. Because it's why you've got to understand that emotionally, it's difficult for a person to say when they've lost something, right? If you're playing a game of cards, if you're playing a computer game, and you lose, you feel bad.
Yeah.
Right?
This part is actually in that lecture I was trying to show you. There's a part where he says, saying I was wrong is the highest order of responsibility for yourself. Admitting when you're wrong and saying it. Yeah,
but that's my point here, is that emotionally they've been injured, hurt internally. Now to admit that and to say, yeah, I've got it wrong,
very hard.
It's very hard. It's embarrassing. It can almost make a man crumble, because men want to be alpha, right? I am not only smart, I'm also super strong. So obviously, if we're breaking that down, it's just simple questions. It's quite like that should be alarming to the ball earther. That with simple questions, the flat earther can absolutely ruin a globe earther's life just with simple questions. And
ask one.
What do you mean? We're looking at the how right now. What do you mean? We're looking at the how you got into this position, right? How did this happen to you?
Yeah. But you just said questions that destroy a globe earther.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how did this happen to you? How did you manage to get so indoctrinated? What happened to you?
Why they've been indoctrinated?
Not why,
as well.
not why. We're not looking at the why yet, Dawn. I said we're going to look at the why and how. We're looking at the how. Yeah, we'll look at the why later. Like why? Why you're like the why, Dawn? That is deep, because that's philosophy. But the how, here and now, is what they can deal with. Because, like I say, they've watched the movies that we have watched. We've all watched that together. The Globe movies. We've all been to school, college, university, seen the same indoctrination. We've all played computer games. where, like you say, the planetary theme can arise there.
I have to bring Nathan up as one of the things I blame for making some people stay a Glober and stay indoctrinated.
No, again, not. You see, you might think that. You might think it's any one individual. For me, that's just the globe earther again looking for an excuse as to you're looking for a reason.
I mean, maybe not him. His arguments. Maybe.
Yeah, it's nothing to do. I spoke to Nathan yesterday about this very thing. Is it you, Nathan? No. Nothing to do with you, nothing to do with QE. We bring that argument to you directly. Yes? Any flat earther will bring this argument to you. It doesn't matter if we go there, you come here, go there, it doesn't matter. You know, any of that, Dawn. There's no more excuses, Dawn. Okay? This Nathan argument is old and it doesn't work because the reason why, Dawn, the reason why it doesn't work because we bring the argument to you. You've seen the landscape here. It's devastated. Yes? So
just okay, let me try and explain it.
Yeah, but I haven't abused anyone, Dawn. I haven't shouted at anyone. I haven't acted any. I've just said, okay, well,
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I've said, look at this horizon.
No one takes you seriously, Chemo. You realise that? No one takes you seriously.
Maybe what I mean, in other words, is the shock of flat Earth. Hearing someone like Nathan shout this, might scare people into staying a Glober. So that's one reason for how they stay indoctrinated. Maybe
I think he changes many minds.
Too shocking.
No, I think he changes many minds. And again, the thing that I think that's what you see, like when you guys would say, "Where are the convertees? Where are they?" And like I say, it's difficult. You've got to be really strong-willed to go from Glober and then knowing that if you become a flat earther, it comes with abuse. You've got to be strong in the mind and be like, I'm not imprisoned by anyone else's thoughts, mind, what they think. I'm not imprisoned by, what they see. And that's what everyone else, if you look, like I said, Doug, the peer pressure is why the majority of people won't transition peacefully because they're too worried about what people think. Right?
I think in here, that definitely applies to these guys.
And that's the how. That's
why. Yes. Blanket everyone with not having to actually fulfill any of the requests by those you call indoctrinated. It's so easy, isn't it, to sit back and label people, but to be labeled, no. I mean, come on, get over yourself. Both you and Dawn, Chemo.
Sorry.
You've got nothing to present the globe, nothing substantial. And if you did, you would be presenting it more than you do fucking the dead swan.
Look, Chemo, Roger agrees with my theory a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If Nathan was a nicer man, I would have considered flat Earth.
Yeah, but again, that's Roger's an issue. Because Nathan is not the only person who presents arguments. If that were true, he would go to 24/7. He would have
a little reason.
It's no, it's an excuse. Look, for me, the globe earthers need something to hold on to. They can find a reason not to transition to flat Earth. They'll use it, right? If Nathan wasn't
can I give you an insight, Chemo? Can I give you a little insight? And you as well, Dawn. You don't have a job. The world's shape does not help the world go round. The world's shape is not on really anyone's, direct mind when they're dealing in their day-to-day life. Okay, it's not a factor that they need to think about.
No, that you're right. The shape is not important. It never has been. The most important factor in all of this is the lie.
So let's
lie. If you're a liar, if you lie, sheeple,
then
it means you're not a good person. You can't be trusted.
So
and we don't want a world where
you lie to yourself. You lie to yourself. You constantly lie to the people on the server. So then, are you not a good person?
No, it seems like that because we're on the other side of the fence. So everything that we say will seem the opposite of what you say. So you say board, we say flat, and then when we present anything that backs up the flat Earth, you will see that as a lie.
If I say model, you say we don't live on one.
No, I don't like these models.
Yeah, but a demonstration, a representation, something that signs.
That's not our job.
Something that people. It is your job. If you're trying to replace the model, you better well put one back.
But let's look at this a second. So the first person to think that the Earth was a ball, did he have a model? He said, no, shit's gone behind the horizon, the Earth's a ball. He didn't have a model. He just went on his own. Then someone said, right, now we need to know how these things work. So if we're saying to you now, we have further observations that show it's flat. Now you're saying model. Well, no, that's down to you.
You don't have observations.
That's down
you
to
have
you
one
now, sheeple, to
severely
make the model and build it, because now you have
distorted
practical information.
image that you cling to. Well, we have multiple different locations across the world showing hundreds of meters of curvature, 2,000 meters here in New Zealand. I mean, you don't want to look at the obvious truth. You don't want to look at all the observations. You want to cherry pick and sit in an echo chamber where everyone agrees with you and nothing is challenged.
Absolutely not.
That's the reality of your
What are you
whole
on about,
movement.
Sheeple? He comes here every day and talks to all of you guys.
I'm
that
talking about
disagree.
FE. This is not a FE server.
You're talking about chemo, and he doesn't. He comes here to
When
be
I say you,
disagreed
I'm
with.
talking about the entirety of FE.
Okay.
Look,
Because he's
sheeple,
calling
we're
us
looking at
global,
how-
so I'm
I don't know what you're
roping you all
complaining
together
about,
as well.
sheeple. This has happened to you. We want to know how.
I mean, don't forget, Don, that chemo is a literal sack of shit.
So we want to know how this has happened to a population
Yeah.
right under their noses. Sheeple. That's what we were looking at. But we can pause that if you
See,
want to.
what you want to do is you want to make claims. You don't want to have to back them up. You want to assert things without showing any evidence for it, and you want people to believe it. And if they don't, you label them indoctrinated.
That's what the Jesuits did with the globe model.
We don't need the Jesuits to know that we have planets in the sky. We don't need the Jesuits to know that we have, observations that seemingly so far have been worked out that they can only work on something spherical based on the nature and angle which we see them.
Yeah, fair enough.
So the idea that we would replace the current understanding with another understanding, if it was valid, is on the table. Flat earthers haven't come to the table. They haven't found the chair yet.
Yeah, but you're still indoctrinated to a model. It's kind of still the point.
Listen, the idea of a model is simply to represent a scaled down version, because we can't make a model of the earth the size of the earth.
Oh, I
Can
know.
we?
Oh, I wouldn't ask you to.
So the idea that we make a scaled down version and then we test it and it works
Yeah, this
is
is
a
fun.
problem for FE. So when I say model, I'm saying representation of what we live on. Now, if the claim is, and the claim is, that FE was made from a flat model and turned into a globe, then there should be no problem, nothing in your way to take the globe and make it flat again. Because if we've never been to space, then no one's seen space views of Earth and all the fucking extra lies. So if it was made into a globe, then reverse engineer it, turn it back into a flat plane. You can't, you won't, and that's why FE is a laughing stock. They're a joke.
Very
There's
stubborn.
something. They think.
You're being very stubborn to new ideas.
I'm very open, Dawn. Very, very open. I've asked many a flat earther. I spent 10 months in their community on the panels. I wrote off everything I know to listen to all I could, and it's been found wanting. Not only that since I've left the whole community and never returned to the panel, the arguments haven't changed. They just pass them on to new people susceptible to the wordplay and twisted questions that they ask the people. They're disgusting groomers.
This is a story of someone that's listened to Flat Earth and is now more indoctrinated to the globe. One of my points.
I've tested Flat Earth. That's the difference. Now I'm asking Chemo to test his claims.
How did you test the flat Earth?
Well, people, none of the people you're talking to are mentally sane.
Oh,
They're
right,
not healthy.
Lewis, you're not really adding anything to this, Lewis, really.
Yeah, if you could explain it to us crazy people, what made you want to go back to the ball model?
Well, I never really left the ball model. What I did is I gave you an ear. I gave you the chance as a community from the early people to the best and the brightest to the kingpins, anyone who could step forward with a representation of what the hell you're claiming, and you've fallen
you
short.
A model. You want a model.
A model of representation, anything.
Oh.
An explanation how the sun sets and
May I?
sunrises and the seasons work in one model. Just one simultaneous observation.
There's a huge problem with the flat Earth model. And that is, where do you put the firmament? How high do you put the firmament?
Dude.
Okay, these are all problems.
You make the claims. Flat earthers make the claim that we've never been to space and space is not real. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, you are.
So then you've got all the information that the Globers have. All you bring me and everyone else who asks the questions is excuses. You know, and I'm quite sick of it. You with your bald-hard or the globe head, ball head comments with nothing to back it up. Chemo with his exaggerated half-truths. And then Dawn with his blanket statement. Nothing has been presented that will convince me. Nothing is compelling. I gave you a chance. Jeremy admits that he can't understand it based on the fact he watched too many videos and he can't go back. But at least he keeps an open mind. None of you have even bothered to answer Professor Dave for over a year now. Nothing. And you wonder why no one takes you seriously. Because you're not serious. You're not seriously looking, and you're not seriously designing, and you're not seriously making. If you could make a flat Earth model, I'll print it for you.
If you could give us your ball model, we'd print that for you too. Nobody has a model.
What are you talking about?
And that's why basically Nathan Oakley
is a con man, yeah.
So the con man of Flat Earth says, we don't have a model, nor will he cling to a model, because whichever model you go with, whether it's a Flat Earth model or a ball model, none of them stand up to reality. If you gave us $50 million, just one day of the kind of money NASA throws away every day, we would give you all the evidence you would ever want.
So part of our model is the 3 laws of motion from Newton. So that's one of that is one of the foundations of the model for the globe Earth and how things move and how they work.
May I?
So can you tell me where that's wrong? Where that does not match reality?
Okay, I could do that. If Newton wrote down laws, that tells me that this means they're non-changeable, because a law cannot change.
Yeah, you know why they're laws? Because they're based on observation.
No,
so
I'm not.
This is purely observation.
No, I agree. I'm trying to agree with you. I'm saying they are laws, and therefore laws cannot change. That's the beauty of it being a law. Once this law is discovered, it cannot be changed. Einstein came and rewrote all of Newton.
No, he didn't rewrite all of Newton.
No, he didn't. What are you talking about? Newton's
laws of motion apply today, and they apply under
Newton's laws of gravity.
Yeah, that's why I picked the 3 laws of motion. They are pivotal and the cornerstones.
Okay, no, I'm not going to question the 3 laws of motion because they're not a problem. It's only when it comes to the laws of gravity that I have a problem.
I have a problem with the laws of motion because you've never seen an object stay in motion. So that's an assumption.
Who said that? Who are we talking to?
It doesn't matter. Have you ever seen an object stay in motion? Attack the argument, not the person. Have you ever seen an object stay in motion? Yes or no?
If I can argue for the ball boys, you fire a bullet, you see it stay in motion.
A bullet stops moving.
I've seen the ISS stay in motion.
My quad flies for 3 minutes.
Hold on. Okay.
Explain how a bullet stops moving.
I've seen the ISS stay in motion.
Are you saying when you shoot a bullet, it doesn't stop moving?
Eventually, but it moves.
Okay,
because
yes,
an object will stay in motion unless what?
No.
Yeah.
That's
An
the
object
assumption
will
is.
stay in
Hold on.
motion unless what?
Stress.
Let me finish.
Let him
Hold on.
answer.
You're saying an object will stay in motion. Now, forget the unless. Now, you need to establish that fact first, then you can move on to the unless. So establish that establish and quantify, then an object will stay in motion as a law, and then we'll move on to other
Let
things.
them respond.
ISS.
Go ahead.
Didn't Feynman say?
ISS never stops moving.
Okay, that's a light in the sky. That's not an object. So show me an object.
It's not a light in the sky. That's your claim. Show me it's a light in the sky.
No. Hold on.
Oh,
so
yes.
an object needs to be touched. Have you ever touched the ISS?
No.
Okay, so then you don't know it's an object. So show me an object that you've touched and you know is an object staying in motion, not a light in the sky and your face.
Bling Bling will argue about the ISS all day long.
You have to touch something to know it's an object now. What the fuck's that about?
Well, how are you going to, what if it's a reflection? You can look at a mirror and see a person, but that's not an actual person. It's just an image. It's not something you can touch.
Image
so hold on, you're interrupting.
Image of a physical object, isn't it?
Cause mirrors.
What if it's an image of a toy in a... Hang
Order. Seriously, I'll just start muting. Come on, look. Can we just get a back and forth a little bit?
The image.
Easter Doctor,
they could be moving
ask
the
question.
Image, not
let them
the
respond.
Physical object.
Do you hear me, Easter? Let them respond. Otherwise, it's just going to break out in all hell loose. So, what's the question? You're saying that what?
They're saying the ISS is. We're saying the ISS is a fictitious object.
No,
they're
hold on.
saying it's not.
You do see it.
No,
it could be. It could be a static object that they are moving through a projection of it, like how you have some sort of shoe and then you present that shoe on a screen. Hold on, don't interrupt. How you have a static object and you present it in a screen or some type of reflection. That doesn't mean the object is moving. It just means that the apparent image is moving. So don't show me a moving image, which is up in the sky. Show me an actual physical object moving without stopping.
Then respond and say, show me the technology that makes that capable to produce an image like the ISS. Or, more importantly, I was going to use the moon.
Hold on, Easter Doctor. Go ahead, foolish. Finish your point. I'm interrupted.
Use the moon as a better example.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kimo, can you stop interrupting?
Oh, I didn't know if you could hear me. I'm just saying, Easter Doctor, let Druss finish his point, please. Thank you.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll white knight myself. If I need moderation, I'll ask for it. Because Easter's being pretty civilized, and I like the way he's interacting. So yeah, I mean, I would use the moon. You know, it's up there. It's a nice big object. No angular resolution issues. Clearly visible, and it has moved for as long as we've had records. Now, I will grant you the fact that yes, you can say that there is an assumption, and that assumption is built on the fact that to move an object or to do something with an object, we have a force. And the only thing that stops an object moving is what appears to be forces acting against it. So things like friction, for instance.
Okay, but my point was that you can have a static object and then you could use techniques to make it look like that object is moving. So what you're doing is like you even said, you're assuming that you're looking at the actual object moving and not some sort of apparent method.
I didn't say that. I reject that.
Are you going to use the same argument on the moon?
Because the point that I'm making is yes, okay, you could say that, you know, that would be a possibility if you can demonstrate that it's a possibility. At the moment, you're just pulling something out that is, I suspect, feel is a reasonable objection. But unless you've got evidence that we are actually capable of doing something like that, I'm going to reject it.
No, I don't need. You need to prove that it's a physical object. You need to prove the ISS is a physical object you can touch if you want to start asserting that it behaves like a physical. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Anything in the sky you have not touched. So it could be it could be an image. You're interrupting. You tell me not to, and then you just interrupt once I start talking.
Sorry, that was someone else.
You're confirming what I just asked you a minute ago. Are you going to use this argument for the moon? And now you are.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're going to look up in the sky and say that object is physical, well, that is a declaration that you cannot back up.
if you're going to say the object in the sky is a projection, then that's a claim that you're going to need to back up.
I'm not making any claims. You start making a claim that it's physical.
Along with the
then you
ISS
fail.
was built on the ground is also not built on the ground and put in space is another claim.
Okay, but I'm not making any of these
You have
claims. You
Scott
are.
Kelly who went to the ISS for a year and took 120,000
That's your
photographs.
belief. That's your belief.
So
So show me an object.
and his
here,
family's belief and his brother's
You're
belief.
getting away.
and-
You're getting away from the topic.
I
No,
The
it's all
law of
related.
motion, or whatever. Hold on. Let me get my point out. The whole point was the law of motion and how an object in motion will stay in motion. Now, can you quantify that with an actual object or only with visual lights in the sky?
No, I'm using an actual object because we have been
No,
to the
okay,
moon, and
without the sky, without
we have artifacts that we've brought back. No, because in
Not the sky. Don't use the sky.
within gravity, we can do forms of perpetual motion, but that's by it's not really truly perpetual motion because you still can't overcome the force of friction eventually. But we can make stuff that runs for a long time, so we can prove that the principles seem to hold. We can prove that the principles of opposing forces acting on it to take out that energy is what's reducing it. So therefore, it is a logical deduction, not an induction, but a deduction that you have to have an opposing force to remove that energy. So I would still say if you want to postulate their projections in the sky, oh, sorry, you've dropped out. I was just basically saying, you know, we've observed that we can calculate the opposing forces and we can see the reduction in the energy. If there is no opposing force, then there is nothing taking the energy out of an object in motion.
Didn't Feynman say?
It's a logical deduction.
Can I talk about that? Let's address that. Is energy something you can remove? Like, can I reach into a jar and pull energy out?
Well, no, energy is something you can. Energy is something you can transfer.
Okay. So energy is some sort of object that I hold and give to you. Is that what you're saying? It's a physical thing that is given from one body to another. Is that your description of it?
No, I'm not saying it's a physical thing.
Okay, so then what
where are you going with that?
Because you're saying that you're saying energy causes these things. So if energy is just a word like God, then it can't really cause anything. So can you show me or quantify in reality?
I could show.
I'm foolish. I'm not done speaking. I know this triggers you people. I know I trigger you people, but you got to let me get it out. Come on, man.
Yeah, but you're just monologuing. Get to your point.
Yeah, finish.
Hang on.
Hang on. 50 people have to go. Okay.
East the doctor. Were you talking about energy? Was it you?
Okay. Listen.
It was.
If you're going to say that energy...
Hang on. Do you know what a rubber band is? And do you know that you can twist the rubber band and you can twist, and that's what you're doing right now. You're twisting it up.
Yeah, and do you know that's not energy, that's a rubber band. That's matter, not energy. Do you understand that?
No, you don't understand. That's
okay. So are you holding a rubber band? Hold on. Are you holding a rubber band or are you holding energy?
Do you not
understand? It's a simple question. Are you holding energy or are you holding energy? Are you holding energy or are you holding a rubber band?
You are holding a sample of potential energy. That's what potential energy.
No, you're holding rubber. You're holding matter. Energy is a property of matter.
No. Hang on.
Yes.
No, you just shoved yourself in the
No.
Because you just said I was holding a rubber band.
Don't interrupt. You're interrupting.
You just said that.
You said, hold on, let me finish. Let me speak. You're just interrupting. You said, I will show you energy without matter. And I said, no. Energy is just a concept to describe matter. You said, you know what a rubber band is? I said, yes, a rubber band is matter. So you immediately went to matter to show me energy because energy is just a conceptual word that you use to describe the interactions that matter has. So without matter, show me energy.
And you're just trying to use words to prove yourself.
No, I'm defining these words. You don't have a definition of energy. You use it loosely to fill in the gaps in the holes in your model and theories.
Dude,
you said, hold on, I'm not done speaking. I'm not done speaking. You think and your baller beliefs think that
what we fucking think and make your point.
Look at this. They have to interrupt. They have to look. Okay, get it all out.
It's been like almost 10 minutes of just you right the hand.
No,
So come on.
What you do is you just say, well, it's energy.
No wonder it's
and
such a
then
stupid
you
answer.
just say it's energy.
Hang on, let the
And you
narcissist
just say it's
finish.
look at how they man, this is crazy.
Oh, the more shows that jump out at you, the more I want to listen to you. That's all I can.
Thanks,
Yeah.
bro.
You got something.
Go ahead.
Thanks, man.
Ace.
If you're talking to me, I got a channel. You can DM.
Oh, plug.
But here's the thing: what you're going to say is that in the beginning there was no matter, there was just energy, and then that energy turned into matter. And I'm going to say, well, what is energy? And you're going to go, So basically, your energy is like a Christian's God, because a Christian's God created all the matter, but you can't really see it.
And make your point.
Okay, so show me what energy is.
Right.
Energy is a quantitative property.
Of
Quantitative property, and it is
It's a
connected to
quantity
matter.
property of what?
And I agree with that. Oh, sorry,
It's a
I can't finish my. I'll tell you what.
Of what?
I'll tell you
Is
what.
it a
I will
quantitative
let.
property of
I
matter?
will let someone else deal with you because you are now over talking everybody else. And
What a
I'm not
bunch
gonna
of
deal with that,
lies.
'cause I'm just going
Is
to.
it
I'm just going
is
Right,
to.
energy a
What a bunch of
is
lies.
energy a
You
quantitative
can't make up
property
what
of matter?
energy means and tell us, because we already
Well-
know the definition.
Okay, so what is it? What's the definition?
I'm not doing the quiz with right the hand.
Because
of
you
what
don't
is energy.
know.
You've
Because
already
you
got.
don't
You've
know.
already got it
I know,
wrong.
you don't know.
You've already
You
got it
have
wrong.
no
I
idea
can
what
Google
energy-
it and get it right if I want.
Okay,
to.
then Google it. I'll tell you what Google.
I'll tell you what,
The ability
Not
to
for
do work.
you, dude. You're already a liar about it.
I'll wire your
Okay,
nuts
well-
up to a 12-volt battery, and we'll show you what energy is.
Okay, but that's not energy. That's a battery, which is physical matter.
Yes,
Oh, man.
and
Okay,
the
so
electric
you're
shocks
just showing me
and the
physical
electric
matter.
shocks going into your testicles. Is that matter?
That's
Hang on,
that's matter
hang on,
interacting with matter.
hang on.
The
hang on.
wires have matter.
Hang
My
on,
balls
hang
I
on,
have
won't
matter.
use.
A
I
lot
won't
of
use wires. I'll arc it onto you.
hang on. The
that's going to
East
go through
Doctor,
the air.
the East Doctor, have you set foot and put your electrodes on the fucking soil of Australia to make sure that it's there? Have you? No, you haven't.
I've been to Australia personally, so I don't need to fucking do any of that shit. But good try.
So does it exist?
Well, I don't know what the fuck I've been to, but I've been to some place where a whole bunch of people talk funny.
So you've been to your own fucking neighborhood that's a bunch of fucking retards.
Are you making a point here?
Yeah.
What is
I
it?
am. I just made it. I just made it because
That I've
you
been to
proved it.
Australia, so it's real? Is that your point?
No, I
Congratulations.
just proved that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. In
How
the
did you
last
do
5
that?
minutes.
How did you
Wait,
do that?
I don't
You
think we've
proved it
ever
yourself.
stated that Australia doesn't exist. Whoever
Yeah, I
came
know,
up
this
with
guy's
this
an idiot.
No,
Australia,
hang on.
Yeah.
This
You
is how
proved
stupid they
it
are.
yourself. You proved it yourself. You have to have everything proved to you personally.
Now, proof is a personal thing. You accept proof. Like I can drop a rock and you won't see a rock fall. You'll see
Exactly.
gravity and the earth. So
Exactly
proof is
what I
personal.
just said. Exactly what I just said. So you haven't been to Australia, so it doesn't exist to you.
No,
I've been
hold
to
on.
Australia.
No,
He said that 3 times, so don't strawman him on that.
no, of course,
Okay,
this
New
is what I
Zealand
do.
doesn't exist. I'm in New Zealand right now. I can tell you it exists. Have you
Okay.
ever been here?
Yes, I've been there too, man. I've been everywhere on the world, so please stop using
No,
have you been
you-
here? Does it exist?
Oh
you
my
haven't
goodness.
been everywhere
Is
in the
this,
world.
is this the most intellectual thing you can add to this argument?
Right,
Is to start
look,
geographical.
hold on,
Let
Jez.
me
Mate,
hold on,
finish.
Jez.
Let me finish.
Yourself,
Don't
you
interrupt.
dumb fuck.
Are you going to just start
Yo,
naming
Jazza,
geographic
back up.
locations?
Jazza, let someone else.
Are you
jump
going
in
to
now.
just start naming geographic
man, sorry.
locations and
Hold on.
asking me if I've been there?
You did
Or
your
just
best.
your
You did your best, man.
maybe there's got to be something better than
Simple
somebody.
question.
You can't pretend you've been everywhere on the world just so your own logic doesn't break.
Okay, no, yeah, but
We don't
your
believe you.
entire
We don't
argument-
believe you.
Have you been
The
to
logic's
China? Have you
broken.
been to Russia? Have you been to England? Have you been to New Mexico?
I mean, no,
That's
but
not-
wait,
that's
wait
not
1
the
second.
question.
Guys,
It's all been recorded
one
for
second,
Chemo's
please.
show, everyone. This is on
So-
Chemo's show, just so you know.
Yeah,
How
no
does that
shit. What do you
song
think I'm
go?
here for?
So I
I've
just
been
want to
everywhere,
ask,
man.
do you accept the existence of places you have not been to? That's the easy way to ask that question.
Okay, see, I accept the existence of Earth. Now, if you're going to say, do you believe in this place on Earth? I'm going to be like, I believe in Earth because I live on Earth. Now, if you're going to start naming these stupid little spots in some stupid attempt to do something stupid, I'm just going to call you stupid. Now, you're doing all of this to deflect away from what energy is because you don't know. So since you've never seen energy and you can't define it, and that's bad for your
Alright,
belief.
can
Hold
someone
on, I'm
here
not done, I'm
tell
not
you
done,
what
I'm not
what
done, I'm
energy
not done,
is?
I'm not
No,
done, I'm
because the
not
point
done,
you're
I'm not-
making is we
Bro,
don't
I'm
know
not
what
done,
energy
I'm not
is.
done. I
So
wasn't
why
done.
not
I
ask
was in the middle
somebody
of a
here? What
Oh,
you were in the middle of a monologue. You're in the middle of a monologue, dude.
We get what you're saying, right?
We don't know what energy is. That's your point. That's your point. So, can someone here tell right the hand what energy
That wasn't the point.
Capacity to do work. Dude,
the point was
this isn't your server. There are 40 other people here, and you cannot monologue like that.
Right, but
someone tell right the hand
for
what
like
energy
8
is.
seconds.
I'm gonna win
No,
it
you weren't, man.
and try to talk over him. He's gonna keep talking. Just finish.
Do you know what time is?
Don't run on for so long, man. Just finish it up like a sentence or two. So
Wrap that shit up, yeah, man.
Okay, so if you're going to deflect away from what energy is to try and quantify energy by quantifying it through a place you haven't been to, I'm not going to subscribe to that. I think it's stupid. So if that's what you want to do, then you can go ahead and do it. I'm not going to participate.
All right, cool. Let's bring it back to the beginning where you tried to deny Newton's first law of motion.
No, I didn't deny it. I asked you to demonstrate an object staying in motion without looking up at the sky, which could be apparent objects, not actual ones.
Well, that's what we witness, don't we?
No,
we witness a balloon.
No, hold on.
An
Don't
object.
talk over me. Don't talk over me. Is that what you say? Anyway, listen. And you, party poet, listen up if you think he said something compelling, because he missed the big point of Newton's first law. Remain stationary or in motion. Now, do we witness things staying?
Keep going. Finish it off. Finish the whole thing off, big boy. And then I'll take it to school.
Please don't call me big boy. You sound like a fuck boy.
Finish the whole quote. What is Newton's entire law of motion?
Hang on, just real
until
quick.
what is acting on it?
Hang on.
Equal or opposite force. An equal or opposite force.
Okay, now force. There you go. Now, is force a conceptual word, or is force a physical mechanism which can move an object?
No, it's definitely a physical effect. Yeah.
Okay, so like in Star Wars, I can move things with just the force. Show me that.
No, you mental case. Force is mass times acceleration.
Okay.
That's telekinetic, by the way.
No. I'll invoke the electromagnetic force. I can move shit with that.
Okay, so you're saying that when a magnet, an electromagnet lifts a car, there's no physical connection. It is purely just what's
no. He means like
you
don't understand what he means. He means he can move and pull and push things using light. I'm explaining to you what he means.
Okay, well, light is a physical. Are you going to say that light isn't a physical object? So you're moving an object without physically touching it. Explain the mechanics of how that.
Can you reach into a jar and grab me some light?
I'm not. This is your.
Can you grab me some light? I want you to pass me some light.
Can you give me a side of sound, please? Side of sound.
It just means you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, mate.
No, it
nothing
means
to be embarrassed about.
Okay, you're talking about me.
I had a handful of magnetism, please.
Okay. We're simplifying this. We're saying force is not an actual thing. First, let's make it even more simple. When you say force, you're talking. Hold on. When you say force, you're talking about describing a push or a pull.
But hang on.
Come on, man. Do you agree that a force is describing a push or a pull?
No.
No.
Okay,
Hang on.
So we don't even agree on what a force is.
Yeah, we don't. No. We clearly don't.
Okay, so what is a force? Describe it.
What I'm having a difficulty is with this should have been taught 3 and 4 years ago.
That's fine.
You should have learned the definition.
Fine. There's an easy
force.
answer. It's the second law. F equals ma. Force equals mass times acceleration.
What is force?
I just said it to you.
No, you said a math equation. What is the physical interaction between force and an object that causes the object to move?
Force is any time a mass is accelerating. It's described as a force having affected.
So force is a description word, not the physical mechanical process that makes the object move.
No, it's
description word that makes the mechanical object move. Yes.
So a description word can move a physical object. Is that what you're telling me?
It's a mechanism. You're explaining a phenomenon.
Don't fall into the trap of this idiot. Don't fall into the trap of this idiot. He's just going to bring it to semantics.
Okay,
that's all he's going to do. That's all he ever does is use semantics.
Is force
Right.
the
Someone
physical
answer the man's
mechanism
questions,
that
though.
objects use to move, or is force a description word that describes when matter moves other matter?
This is the guy that says he has a degree in
Okay, so you're
physics.
just
Davros,
talking
come on,
about
just
me now.
do that, man. It's difficult.
Okay,
It's difficult enough, man.
so write
Okay,
the hand
talk
to
about
answer
the
you both.
topic.
So write the hand to answer you. Both descriptions you've given of what a force is are wrong. So I don't
define
agree
it
with
yourself.
either description.
So then you need to clarify it yourself. Bring your definition of force to the table and make it very clear. Don't just say, no, you're wrong. Show me why I'm...
Listen to him then.
Force is any interaction that will
We've
change
done-
the motion of an object, if not opposed.
We've done
Can
this
you
thousands of times.
Can you change the motion of an object without touching it with another
Yes,
object?
you can.
How do you
either
do
with
that?
another? I could change the motion that a feather is flying in by blowing on it.
Yeah,
I haven't
that's-
touched it.
You're physically
Then that's
touching
force.
with air.
How am I
air
touching
is
it?
physical.
I'm touching the air with
has
what?
Physical.
With my
the
breath.
air, which is physical,
I'm
is
touching
touching
the air with
feather,
my
which
breath?
is physical.
Okay, just
So
go
that's
with the easy
no,
choice.
you're
moving.
Just say a magnet, man.
Wait.
Oh, hang on.
say a
so I
magnet,
just
and then we can
hang
go
on,
to it.
Jazza, don't. I just want clarity. So when I blow on a feather, you're saying I'm touching it.
Yes, he's
No,
saying
you're
that.
not touching it. Air is touching it. The
Yeah,
air,
so-
which is physical, is touching the feather.
Just say a
which
magnet,
is
man.
physical.
Isn't
Just
that
say a
an
magnet.
example? Hang on, guys. Hang on. I just want clarity. So isn't that an example of me making the feather move without touching it? That's what you wanted, right?
No.
That's what you asked for. What did you ask me for?
No.
What did you ask me for?
I said, stop talking and maybe you'll understand. If you're going to say that force is non-physical and it can move an object, then you need to show me.
I didn't say force is non-physical.
Okay, so now you're saying that force is a physical thing that I can hold.
That's
so
not
show
what
me
I'm saying either.
Okay, so is force physical or non-physical? It can't be fucking both or neither.
This
You gotta
is my
pick one.
definition of a force. A force is any interaction that, when unopposed, will change the motion of an object. That's my definition.
Okay, and now
And you gotta work with that.
I'm questioning your definition, and I'm saying,
Okay.
can you change the motion of an object without physically touching it? And you're going to
Yes,
say
you can.
yes. And then you gave me the feather example, and I'm saying that
Yes.
air is touching it.
Please
so
stop
can we
using
get
that
to the
example, Nate,
But
and just use a
that's
magnet.
not me. Okay, a magnet then. Cool, a magnet.
Okay,
Now
so
what?
great. Now what you're going to say is that when a magnet lifts an object, it does it not through a physical unseen process, but through magic.
I'm not going to say that. I would never say that.
Okay,
That's what you would say,
so
though.
then no. Well, if you don't have an unseen physical process, then what do you have?
Do you not
We have a
understand
physical
what a
process
magnet is?
happening. Just because I
No,
can't see
you don't have
what's
a physical
happening
process. You
doesn't
said it's
mean
non-physical.
yes, I do.
You said there's no
I
touching.
never said
You
it's
said there's no
non-physical. I never said
well,
it's
it can't
non-physical.
touch if it. hold
You
on.
asked
listen,
me for
shh.
an example where I
if
make
it doesn't-
something move without touching it. And
Well,
this is the example I'm giving you.
physicality- if the
Not all
magnets-
forces
oh my
work this way, though. Forces work differently. There are some forces which are contact, and then you have the electromagnetic force, which is non-contact.
Okay,
You also
so
have
what you're-
pseudo
okay,
forces,
listen,
such as gravity and Coriolis, which are non-contact forces as well.
Okay, so let's talk about non-contact. So you're saying that if you have an object, you could move it without contact. Now, can you explain that mechanism to me?
So, for example, through electromagnetism or gravity.
No.
Which force do you want to walk?
What you're doing? Hold on. Listen. What you're doing is.
I'm asking you
both
which
see the
force do you want me to walk
Let me
you
explain. Let me explain. I'm saying things must have a physical connection in order to move, and you're saying no, they don't have to. We both see a magnet, right? And I'm going to say, man, we probably just don't see that connection because you can't move it through magic. And you're going to go, no, it is magic. And I'm going to say, but how does it work? And you're going to go, magnetism. I'm going, yes, but how does it work? If it's non-physical, how? You're going to go, magnetism. I'm going to go, I understand what we just saw. That's called magnetism. Now, how does it work? Don't tell me magnetism. Explain how it works without physically touching it. Don't just say magnetism, please.
Okay. So to explain how magnetism
Just
works,
say magnetism, please.
you first. So you would have. So electromagnetism, it is the force. So the electromagnetic force acts upon you by releasing electromagnetic radiation or light. right? So what
Well,
happens
you're
is
asking?
within a mag. No. I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking. I'm thinking out loud. So with magnetism, you first need to create an electric field. So you would have you need a charged particle to create an electric field. So it can have a positive or negative
Okay,
charge
stop.
depending on.
Stop right there. Particle is a physical object. The definition of particle is any small piece of matter, and matter is physical. So you're going to need a different word than particle, and even the physics definition of particle is an object that has vector magnitude and all that bullshit. So you still are stuck with the physical object or particle.
All right.
Hey,
Hang on. We need to back
say it
up now
simply.
and
No, it's not. Don't back
no,
up.
Kosho, shut up.
Just say it simply.
Kosho, shut up. I need clarity now, dude. Do you want
dude, it's not difficult.
Kosho, I'm trying to talk to the guy. Come on. Do you want an example
Yeah, you're trying real
where
hard,
I
man.
make something move without touching it? Or I make
Well,
something
that's what you're
move
telling me a magnet does. You're telling me a magnet works
So,
through magic or telekinesis, and I'm saying
if
that's
I make
bullshit, so
something
explain
move,
it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I just want clarity now. If I make something move with a magnet, is that not me making that thing move without touching it?
No, that's the magnet and an unseen physical connection doing something that you can't see. I don't think it's telekinesis. I don't think it's magic.
No one thinks it's magic.
Well, you do. You don't think there's any
Why do I
unseen
think it's
physical
magic?
process happening.
I don't think
because
that.
you listen.
I don't think
you
that.
don't think. Hold on, listen.
You can't
do
tell me
not
what I
think.
think.
Listen.
Stop saying listen.
You said this. You've said this. You've said there is
When
no
did I say this?
unseen. Is there a physical connection between the magnet and the object it's touching? Yes or no?
Well, we would have to define physical, but I'm getting lost now. I thought you just wanted an example where
so
I'm
do you know
not
what
touching
physical
the
means?
object moving. Hang on.
Magnet now, dude. It's very simple. Just name the charges. They have positive, negative charges. That's it.
Yes.
If you have
What
negative,
does that
negative,
mean?
they'll repel. They don't have to touch.
Yeah,
That's
Kosho,
it.
Kosho, that is where I was going. And
What
then
has
he
Then
started
get there,
talking
man.
about-
There's
I was
50
trying to
people in
get
here.
Yeah, I was
When
trying
you
to get
say
there. Then he started
what-
talking about particles
What
and their
has
physicality.
this charge?
So
What
this has
you're
me
saying this
confused
thing
now.
has a charge?
Does he want an example where I'm touching something and making it move? Or is
No,
me
you're-
making
oh my
something move
God.
with the
Are you
magnet
listening,
fine?
bro? How does a magnet work without touching? You're saying this thing has
through
a charge. What has a charge? What has a charge?
The particles
Can we mute one
magnet-
while the other
magnet
explains,
itself.
Kosho? Please.
Are you aware a particle is a physical object? Are you
This is like a
aware? By
retard
every
circle.
hold on, listen,
So
dude,
what?
whoever's
So what if it's
listen,
physical?
listen.
I'm not
Do
touching
you understand
the
that
thing
by
being moved, though.
every definition of particle, it's a physical object? Particle, a small, minute portion of matter. That's from the Merriam-Webster's, from your physics definition. Particle,
Okay.
a localized
Kosho, maybe
object
you
that has
could
magnitude,
explain
vector.
exactly what it is he
So what do you?
wants.
You're okay. I'll explain.
Give him
what
exactly what he
I'll
wants.
explain.
You can end it by answering it quickly. If he doesn't accept it after that, you don't have to talk to him anymore.
Electron particle. Electron fucking particle.
I think I've already given him my answer, but for some reason he's not.
Particle is a physical object.
Yeah, electron has mass. It's matter. It has a
Okay, so
has
is
a
an
charge.
electron what lifts? Is an electron what lifts?
Forget about the
metal?
electron. Just to not make it a fucking. He's just gonna go on about how particles are balls and stuff. Just say an iron magnet. Okay.
Okay, but
there's
how
an
does
iron
the
magnet
iron
has a negative
magnet
side and a
lift?
positive side. Okay.
What's inside?
Positive
Kosho,
charge and negative charge.
You
They don't have
seem
to
to
touch
know
and they can repel each
what
other.
he wants. So you should give him the answer. Because it
Okay,
seems
so-
when we tell him magnets work through charges, and like charges
is
repelling,
charge?
and opposite
What is
charges
charge?
attracting.
What is repelling?
And
You
thus,
can't have nothing
that
repel.
way,
Stop
I
talking.
can
Stop talking
make
at the same
something
time.
move.
Stop talking.
Okay, and that
Like
way,
both you guys are talking over each other. It's
okay,
pointless.
Cool. Yeah, and that
There's no
way,
point in talking to somebody who does that, man.
all right, cool. And that way, I can make something move using charges without touching that thing myself. Isn't that an example of me making something move without touching?
We were talking about not you making it move, the motion. We're talking about an object and what moves it. Okay, not you, the object, and what moves it. Okay, there's only two things, not three. There isn't you, what moves the object, and the object. There's two things, what moves the object and the object. Now, I'm saying in order to move an object, you have to have another physical object with structure and shape that makes physical contact in some capacity under some mechanism with that object to move it. You're saying, no, a magnet works without the physical connection. I'm saying, no, you just can't see the physical mechanism. That doesn't mean there isn't one. And you're saying there isn't one. And I'm saying, well, then how does it lift it? And you're saying a charge. And I'm saying, what is charge? And you're saying a particle. And I'm saying a particle is a physical object. And you're just running around in circles.
Then it is. There you go. It's got charge. It's got a physical connection through the charge. It's not physically touching, pushing, or pulling like you first described. Which is, so you admit you were wrong now. But yeah, it has a charge, which is the physical relationship it has.
What has
it's a fundamental force. It's a special type of fucking.
What has a charge?
The particle.
The physical object. Yes, you keep coming back to it.
All right.
It's iron magnets are physical objects, man. I mean, you can.
Bro, an iron magnet is a physical object.
All right,
dude.
right the hand. I think then it's a thing of we maybe didn't understand what you were saying, and maybe you weren't explaining it properly, and the example you wanted doesn't fit with the conclusions you are trying to get to. So it seems you are saying that nothing can move without a physical connection, not that nothing can move without being touched. Because I think that's what everyone understood. You saying that
what's the difference
between objects if we touch them?
What's the difference between touch and physical contact?
Yeah, you
They're
said
the same thing.
touch, meaning
Touch
hand.
is physical contact. It's
I think you should
words.
define it yourself.
Bro, if you don't know what touch and physical contact is, you need to go back to first grade.
Oh, really? You don't know what a magnetic field is?
No, I know what, bro. Here's the thing. You see a magnetic field. I'm asking you how it works, and you're telling me it doesn't touch it. It's just magic. It's just force. It's just charge.
That's not
and I'm
what
saying charge of
was
what?
saying.
And you keep coming back. You keep coming back to particles.
Yeah, because we misunderstood what you were saying.
So now you're saying that a magnet does use a physical connection.
No.
Particles.
Don't tell us
so now it doesn't.
what we're saying.
Oh my God, bro.
Don't tell us what we're saying. Do this.
You tell me.
Define your terms.
No. You tell me.
Define your terms.
Does a magnet use a physical connection that we can't see, or does it use a non-physical mechanism? Can you pick one?
Why does it matter if you can see it or not?
Oh, so it is physical. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's physical.
Well, VD's asking the question, man.
If that's all you were saying, then you did that in a very bad way, because no one would have thought that's what you meant.
Bro,
You gotta stop talking over this guy, man.
That's why, because I said non-visual physical connection. Like air is non-physical, is non-visual. You can't see air, but we can use air to move things, and you can touch it, you can feel it. Okay. Magnetism might be a more complex mechanism of motion of some physical thing like air that you can move through, but it interacts with other objects.
What is your
magnets?
What is your
what's your point? Because we all agree
heard
with you, right? The hand.
Monologue.
So what is your argument?
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we agree with you. So what?
Well, the argument is that because what mainstream science does is, if you actually look into it, it'll say that photons, which don't have matter or mass or physicality, are what is moving, or is what is in an electromagnetic field, because of the light spectrum. So that to me is like just total horseshit, right?
A photon is released when an electron changes energy state, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay, but is a photon a physical object? It's a theory, and it's a photon. They say, it has no mass,
all science
so it's not a physical object. Okay,
name me anything that isn't an observation, that isn't theory or hypothesis.
No, theory. If I drop a rock, that's not theory. That's knowledge.
Observation is the point. Yeah, observation is empirical. Observation is empirical.
Yeah,
conclusions drawn from the observation are theoretical or hypothetical.
But I don't need to draw any conclusions from a rock falling. You need to start drawing conclusions. Hold on, you're interrupting.
If I asked you, why does the rock drop?
Yeah, okay, see, that would be where you start drawing conclusions, and you can get lost in speculation, because all you have is the experience of it falling. You don't have the experience of why it falls, so you can't make that knowledge. The only way to make something... Hold on. The only way to make... Hold on. Let me say this. The only way to make something knowledge is through the experience of it. Okay, so you can't learn French without experiencing French in some capacity, whether it's through a tape recording or words written on a paper. So you cannot know why a rock falls unless you experience the why of a rock falling, but you don't experience that. You only hold on, hold on. You only, I'm wrapping up right here. You only experience the actual physical observation of the rock falling, not the why.
Yeah, but that's the whole of science, isn't it?
No, that's the whole of bullshit.
No, that's the whole of science. The whole of science. I agree with you. The only thing that's empirical is the measurements and the observations we take within the tolerance levels that we can produce. Anything that we go on from
everything
there
else is horseshit.
Everything else isn't horseshit. Everything else is trying to get to the best explanation. And the reason that we come up with those best explanations is we can falsify them. We can't verify them.
No, you don't falsify the explanations, because the only thing you can falsify are the observations. The explanation is a story based. Hold on, you're interrupting. You're interrupting. Let me
I disagree with the point.
So after this, y'all both stop interrupting each other for real, man, and keep it short.
So when you say falsify, that means you're going to do something to prove something wrong. But we've already done the thing. The observation, the experience of the observation is already done. So there is no falsification to be done. The only thing left is thinking and speculation.
I disagree with that, because the whole thing is when you have a hypothesis, you can then start to test it against more observations in reality. And what we might find out is we observed a rock dropping, but we didn't take all the factors into account, and we may have missed something in that first observation. So by going back and repeating the experiment, we get to a better understanding of the rock falling, the observation itself. Yeah, and we can then take that to our hypothesis and say, hold on a second, that doesn't represent what we're observing here. There's something wrong.
Okay,
so that's why that was horseshit.
Okay, all you did, science, this is why, please try not to interrupt on this one. This is why science is horseshit, because you're trying to manifest something more than the observation of the direct experience. You drop a rock, okay. Well, but if we drop it from a higher thing, we'll have, no, you just have now 2 experiences. But if we roll the rock down a hill, no, you now have 3. You've never proven the cause. You've never experienced why the rock is doing what it does. The only thing you've experienced is it doing it, not why. So the only thing you can have knowledge of is the rock doing what it does, not why it does what it does.
What utter nonsense, really.
Whole strength.
Direct this guy to go to like a school or something.
The whole strength of the process is the fact that we can be predictive with it.
Okay,
so we can start to create scenarios. And you're fucking interrupting me 2 words into my fucking statement.
Okay, let me ask you this: can you gain knowledge without experience?
No more questions. That's it. You're done.
Okay. Yeah, because you know you're done. So I'll let me just, since you're done, I'll just speak. He's going to try and say that you can gain knowledge.
Pandic. Jesus Christ, he's been rambling on for 30
Well, he just said he's done.
I've just got him on mute now. That fucking pissed me off. If he thinks I'm running because he's being an arsehole.
Okay, well, I don't think you're running.
Well, because he started talking, and the instant he started talking, you started talking. And then when he pointed it out, you said, okay, and kept talking.
Okay, so the point is, can you gain knowledge?
No, the point is you now shut up and let him talk.
Now it becomes personal.
Because that's what was happening, dude. You interrupted. You need to be quiet and let him speak and respond to what you said. Jesus, what's wrong with you? Go ahead.
You were talking to me there for a second. I thought, okay, I accept that.
No. Yeah, he.
You need to shut up.
He interrupted you, Drus, and when you pointed it out, he saw that as a go ahead to just keep going.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's got a foolish position, because the whole thing is that the predictive mechanisms that we have that make it valuable. The fact that we can do things like engineering based on the observations we've had on the past to produce things for the future that demonstrably work. And when they don't demonstrably work, we can examine why, and then we can work out why we've got a problem with the theory or the hypothesis we're working to.
Well, he's rejecting inference, isn't he? I think he's not allowing any kind of inference, which is just silly.
Well, it means he's rejecting all the laws of motion. Full stop. He can't support them anymore.
Yeah, I'd like to have his address so I can send him some powerful magnets. Get him to hold them on both hands, reverse